A lot of people are floating the idea that US President Donald Trump should be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his play and maneuvers and participation in the events that we are now seeing unfold in the Korean Peninsula. Now, as much as that is a very unique step that we hadn't anticipated and a conflict that has been going on for decades, this is still just the first step, and no official peace treaty has been signed already. So even though they have met now, the leaders of the two countries, the North and the South, have met and they have signed mutual motions to move towards peace, there are still 1.5 million things that could go wrong, and things might backfire. And quite frankly, I do believe there are plenty of leaders around the world that would rather want to see this fail than to ever risk Donald Trump being able to claim credit for it. And yes, I do believe that narcissism runs that deep among a lot of the global leadership, sadly. So if that happens, you heard it here first. Now, I'm crossing my fingers that that doesn't happen and that we do see a move towards peace in the Koreas, a move towards North Korea, DPRK, opening up, and actually things getting better, more stable and peaceful, and profitable for people, and just genuine growth of quality of life. I really want to see that for part of the world, that region. Um, but even if that happens, I still would be very surprised if the Nobel Committee would ever award Donald J. Trump for that. Because let's face it, and we have seen this to a degree with him, there seems to be a little bit of a nepotism going there, going on in the global community. Uh, he's not really put himself on the inside, so that would be quite quite an unpredictable step. Now, President Obama was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Certainly, you know, if we compare that, then certainly we could just hand it to Donald Trump now, because Obama was awarded his uh, before the fact, not after the fact. It's almost as if it was an encouragement award or encouragement prize or participation trophy. Yay! For not bringing us more war and destruction. And then what happened? All right. I must say though, I genuinely do believe that, with extending my honesty and sympathy to Obama to a degree, I do believe he was quite stuck between a rock and a hard place on a lot of it, and then bad decisions happened. And to a large degree, following 9/11, I do believe the same thing for George Bush. In some ways, he was stuck between a rock and a hard place, and then some bad decisions happened. But that's the world, and it's now, sadly, that has become our reality for the past 2 decades, 2+ decades, because bad decisions happened before that as well. So yeah, at any rate, but what does this mean for North Korea though? If they do gradually open up and move towards peace, um, well, I'm going to be realistic here on this one as well. I don't ever think they're going to be another South Korea. I don't think they're going to move in that direction. I would see them much rather moving towards sort of a structure that China has now. See the progression that China's been undergoing since the end of the 80s. I would see that progression much more, predict that for North Korea to a way larger extent. Is that necessarily something that I would endorse, the Chinese way of doing society and politics? Not necessarily, but um, we got to work with what we can realistically get. And what China has today certainly is a lot better than what they had all up through the 80s. And if North Korea can move somewhat towards something like that, it's my hunch is that it's going to be certainly quite a bit better than what they have today. Now, granted, they've lived under such an iron curtain that, aside from what we've heard from people who have escaped out of there, we really don't know much about what North Korean society is behind that, and I don't think they're gonna just crack the doors open right away until they manage to clean that up a little bit and make it look good before we get to see it. Because, quite frankly, otherwise that would be and this is something I still fear. That would be the quickest way for international courts to just come jumping in there and start arresting the entire North Korean leadership and start running these crazy human rights tribunals and trials for humanitarian atrocities, etc., etc., which, probably based on international law would probably not be unsubstantiated. But I also just think that that would make the whole project of getting North Korea to trust the world to backfire, and it would close it off. And of course, because I also happen to believe that there are plenty of narcissistic world leaders, I wouldn't be surprised if the UN and the global community just went out and did just this. That they actually would walk in there and do another Germany, post World War II Germany, another Versailles Treaty thing. Like, I wouldn't be surprised that they would go in there and just repeat that thing all over again and sabotage this project in order to, well, just be able to say that Trump failed. I would not be surprised. I'm hoping, like I said, I do believe the narcissism runs deep. I do believe global leadership is nepotist in terms of who is allowed to be a part of the club and who's not. Certainly, as far as ideology goes, I think the global leadership is very nepotist. So yeah, I'm hoping, I'm desperately hoping that I'm wrong. I want to be wrong on this one. I want the global leadership to allow this process to happen the way it needs to happen. Allow North Korea to adapt to it and rest and open up and build the trust in the way that it needs to, and the South to receive them, and China and Japan and the neighboring countries to receive them onto the field, onto the sphere, onto the stage, if you will, the way that they need to. And I would love it if the rest of us would just stay the heck out of things for once. For once in our lives, can we just stay out of things? Because this is very, very fragile. It took decades to get to this point, and it's very fragile. So I'm just really hoping. But yeah, no matter how it goes, and even if it's a tremendous, tremendous success, huge success, I, I would, I would probably eat my hat. You guys are gonna hold this against me. I would probably eat my hat the day it would happen that he actually got that Donald Trump actually got a Nobel Peace Prize for it. I just don't believe that I'll see the day. But you know what? If that happens, then maybe that is a sign that the world is opening up to actually being tolerant. That maybe some people with crazy words, crazy ideas, and ways that we don't agree with, who do a whole bunch of stuff that we don't agree with, if they can manage to do one thing right, one thing well, and get actual tangible success in one aspect, one field. This is a crucial one. We can get that going, then you know what? That is something to celebrate. That is something. I mean, one right does not a whole a list of wrongs fix, or what's that saying even again? Anyways, yeah, if you do one right thing, it doesn't cross out all your wrongs, um, but at the same time, the other way around as well. So yeah, let's see. It's going to be interesting. Is this tangible or isn't it? Do you think North Korea is going to open up and that this is going to be a success or not? And then, do you believe that Donald Trump should get the Nobel Peace Prize or not? And do you believe that he's going to get it or not? Three questions. I'm posting your way. Answer in the comment section. If you're new to this channel, like, share, subscribe, click that bell icon so you get my notifications whenever I'm annoying you at any hours of the day and night. Living under your bed. But yeah, peacefully. But yeah, that's it for now. Let's see if we get a good discussion section. I'm excited to see that, and we'll see if I have to eat my hat. Now, hiking out.